Board of Supervisors meeting to order. We will start with our invocation by Mr. Underwood. Please rise.
Most gracious and Heavenly Father, once again we come before you asking for your blessings over our meeting tonight. Heavenly Father, we give thanks to you just for all the blessings you bestow upon us. Heavenly Father, asking you to continue to watch over our troops at home and abroad. Continue to bless our first responders. Heavenly Father, put us on one accord today that we might do the business of the county to your liking. All blessings we ask in your precious name. Amen.
We would stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, we'll start off with any opening board comments, and we'll start out with Mr. Black. You want to roll over and see if Mr. All right, well, we'll start with Mr. Thomas then.
All righty. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just had a couple of quick ones and then a request. I attended the 160th anniversary of Shiloh Baptist Church here in Bowling Green. Great event at Town Hall. There must have been 150 or so, if not more people there. Great to see all those folks. And Saturday, I will be attending the 160th anniversary for St. John Baptist Church. And I wanted to ask the chair and the board if we would add to our consent agenda a resolution in support of their 160th anniversary. Mr. Parton and I will craft a resolution ourselves. He's basically done one. I'm just going to add a couple of things. And if that works, I'd like to add that to the consent agenda as K. But that's it for me. You want to mic?
Mr. McKenzie, I saw you perk up.
It's not an action item.
It's not an action. That's what I wanted to clarify. So it's just the direction of staff to prepare the resolution.
Right.
Understood.
So that I can deliver it on Sunday. And you are stepping up because we have new regulations that took place July 1st that says we can't add things to the agenda that are action items the day of, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. That's exactly right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Seeley?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I attended actually 260th anniversaries. One for Shiloh Baptist Church with Mr. Thomas was a wonderful event at Town Hall. And I also attended the Jerusalem 160th anniversary at Meadow Event Park. Both were wonderfully attended and were great events. I'd like to remind everybody about Music on the Green. It's the last Friday of the month on the courthouse lawn. I'd like to also remind everybody that Bowling Green Harvest Festival is October 17th, which is rapidly approaching us, even though, you know, we're sort of in the beginning of August. It'll be over before we know it. And lastly, it has come to my attention that the horticulture program at the State Fair in September would like to fly the American flag and the state flag. And I was hoping that we could get a Caroline County flag flown there as well in honor of the 250th of the United States. I didn't want the American flag and the state flag to be alone. I think Caroline County's flag would be a great addition. I would like to see if the members of the board would join with me in donating a Caroline County flag. I just happen to have one here for the State Fair, and also happen to have tonight Miss Catherine Burris, who happens to be involved in the horticulture organization that's going to fly the flags. So if everybody wouldn't mind donating a flag from the Board of Supervisors, I'd greatly appreciate that. I don't know if we want to do that now or when we go to consent agenda or presentations, but I would love to give them a flag this evening to fly at the State Fair for Caroline County. At the State Fair, I'm sorry, State Fair. which, you know, is in Caroline, so it should fly the Caroline flag. They've not, I don't believe they've had flags, but we can ask Mrs. Burrs that when she comes down, but they are trying to fly all 3 flags this year, and I didn't want Caroline to be left out. We can do that in consent. I'll just add Caroline County flag to State Fair. L.
Yeah.
No, it's just it's a donation.
Is that it, Ms.?
That is it, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Ms. Long?
Well, I was glad to attend the night out in Port Royal with our firefighters and a couple of our deputies, and a lot of children having a good time, and it was lots of fun. And then it started to sprinkle, and it was so hot and it felt so good. Everybody just got happier. So we had a nice time, and appreciate seeing all the work that the deputies do with the kids, and making them feel comfortable when they talk to them and that type of thing, which is one of the best things I think about National Night Out, is that as citizens we get to see law enforcement as human beings and not just somebody you see when you're in trouble. So I think that's a wonderful reason to support that, and I look forward to attending again next year. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Underwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have a couple comments on last Saturday. I attended the Mount Salem Baptist Church Crab and Shrimp Feast here in Bowling Green, and they had about 350 people, and it was really just a good event for the church. Such a small church, but it was just really amazing at the number of people that turned out. So I want to say certainly thank you to the community and all of those who showed up on behalf of Mount Salem and Pastor Bray. Also, New Life Pentecostal Church by Bishop Holmes had the dedication of their new community building that they put on, added to their church. And it's really a 2,500 square foot building that they added onto their church and dedicated. Many of you probably don't know Big John, the driver from the school, who used to drive our kids who were special needs children back and forth to Richmond and throughout the county. They dedicated that building to him. So I just thought it was just an outstanding event, and I really appreciated Bishop Holmes having me there, and certainly I look forward to going back and attending his service. That's all, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Black.
Thank
See
you.
you're up and running.
All right, we'll start off. I think today was the first full day of school for Caroline County Public Schools. So, and yesterday was the kind of the transition day. So want to thank teachers, students, and staff for hopefully, or just say good luck on another school year. Their public service is obviously for the teachers it's a tough job at times. So I wish them the best of luck. Ms. Long and I had an opportunity to attend the Ivy Hill motocross out on Page Road, and that was something that was cool. That was probably one of the neatest grand openings I've ever been to. And that young man, 4 years he dedicated, mostly did the work himself to getting the track and everything. I mean, he had a lot of help, but it's his idea, and taking 4 years to accomplish his dream a little at a time. Story was that he told was incredible. I also want to thank the many departments. Every year, every summer, I go and meet with our various, as many departments I can in the county, and Ms. Long joined me as well, and we had a really good time. Listened to a lot of your concerns, and hopefully some of those concerns will be alleviated in over the next several months with some of the actions that we will be taking. But I do want to thank staff because, you know, we're elected by the constituents, obviously, but it's the staff who runs the county, and there's some really, really, really good people in the Caroline County government. So wanted to also congratulate Dunkin' Donuts on their grand opening. That was fun, and people were lined out, starting at a ridiculous time in the morning to try to get their free coffee for a year. So, great job on that. So Ladysmith is changing, and so that's something that, people really enjoyed. And then I've had several, this goes out to Parks and Rec. I've had several people, and I've talked to you about that a little bit, reach out to me in regards to, bringing back youth football. That was a concern that I got several calls over the summer with, and I know we've talked, but it is something that I think many families are taking their kids to, other counties and private, groups in other counties, which I don't believe we have anymore, any private groups in the county. So I just wanted to say that would be something that I would like to see. I know there's other board members here, but it is something that a lot of, I think, of our youth are interested in. So that's all, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Black. I will forego any comments and we'll move on to the next item, which I can. Would just want to mention, and I thank Mr. Seeley for navigating that meeting. We had a productive meeting with the schools on the 29th of July. Thanks to both boards. And again, we have a lot more work to do, but it was a good step forward. And we'll try to build upon that success in the coming weeks. So thank you to everyone involved with that. I was out of state and only able to attend the first hour or so remotely. So thanks again, Mr. Seeley, for making that happen. All right, with that, we'll move on to amendments to the agenda. I know that we have the resolution from Mr. Thomas. That'll be L, K, JK. Yeah, yeah. And that is,
And Mr. Chairman, I know that Mayor Gamble is coming. I don't know what time, but if we could add her probably around the 7:30 time frame for a presentation from Bowling Green, Kentucky.
all right, so we'll put it in new business, like,
Yeah, we could do that. Okay,
Okay.
well, yeah, we'll make it a presentation. When she comes, we'll do it then.
and what's the name?
Mayor Gamble from presentation from Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Okay.
Oh, there's more than, there's
Yeah,
6.
I'm sure there's more than that. All right, any other additions or changes to the agenda? All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as modified.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Thomas and a second by Ms. Long to approve the altered agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we have an agenda for the evening. With that, we'll go into our presentations, and that's introduction of the new Fort APL Commander. Welcome.
Welcome. It's my pleasure to welcome you here tonight. It was my pleasure to be at the change in command, and as we tend to do around here, every couple of years we have to say goodbye to someone that we've just made friends with and welcome someone else. But we were delighted to have you here with us today, Lieutenant Colonel Howard, and hope that you and your family are going to settle in great. And we look forward to having you as part of our community for the next couple of years. But we'd like to hear what you have to say about Caroline so far.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ms. Long. It's good to see you again, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice Chairman, and board members. As Ms. Long introduced me, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Isaac Howard. I took command of Fort A.P. Hill about 2 months ago. I've been in the Virginia area for a little while. I'm coming from the Pentagon, and I am sort of a Virginian myself. Both of my parents are Virginian. I was born in Korea, but I did graduate high school in Virginia, but my family is more from the southwestern side.
So did they give you citizenship because you were born there?
They did not.
Okay,
No,
that's
no,
strange.
Korea's,
I can't imagine that.
they're a little more strict on the citizenship piece. Yeah, so no citizenship. But I did live there until I was 7 and then spent a lot of my elementary school years between Northern and Southern Virginia, did some time on the West Coast and then came back. So I've been away from Virginia before going to the Pentagon since I enlisted. I enlisted in Virginia and I've been gone for about 15, 16 years before coming back. It's great being here. I'm really floored at just how well the community is integrated with the installation. And a number of our employees are local community members and have been for their whole lives. And I think that ties the installation very closely to the community. And it seems that there are really strong relationships here with the emergency service providers, with the council, community, and town leadership. So I'm thrilled to be here. Unfortunately, it will be only for 2 years, as Ms. Long alluded to. So you may see me a couple more times before it's time for me to go. But I hope to keep the relationships between the installation and the local community as strong as I can. Thanks again for letting me come out here and introduce myself.
Well, thank you for coming, and we hope to see you at the Bowling Green Harvest Festival.
I'll be there, I promise.
Any board members have anything specific? Miss Long just jumped to the front of the line.
I'm
but-
sorry about that.
That's all right. Well, thank you very much.
Okay, thank
Appreciate
you.
it. And welcome to Caroline County.
Thank you.
All right, with that, we'll go on to the consent agenda. Are there any items that any board member would like to pull off and discuss in more detail?
There's nothing new, Chair.
Hearing none, we'll accept a motion to
I'll
accept. consent
move that
agenda.
we approve the consent agenda as amended.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Black and a second by Ms. Long to approve the consent agenda as amended. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Can-
opposed? I'm sorry, Mr. Sealer.
No, I just
Okay.
wanted, I was
Motion
gonna say,
carries.
can we do the presentation of the county flag? Since we're at presentations, we're at consent agenda, and Catherine Burris is here.
All right,
You wanna come on down?
well, let's do that. We did, that motion carried, sorry.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Would like to thank each of you for your consideration of the opportunity of flying both or all three of our flags at the Horticulture Department at the State Fair this year. We are focusing on the 250th anniversary of our country. And as part of that celebration, we want to be able to display all three of the flags across the front, inside of our tent or horticulture department. And we would be very proud to say that the Board of Supervisors of Caroline County made that possible.
Thank you very much. How do you want to?
I would thought we'd get a picture of all of us. This is something we've never really done, I don't think, as a board. Well, I'm trying to. It's a brand new flag, don't burn.
Do you want to come up and get a photo?
Come on.
Some of you were asking who it was with me. I need to recognize my supervisor, who is Glenn Martin. Glenn is giving leadership to the administrative part of horticulture as well as the livestock and many, many other tasks at the state fair, and it's a pleasure to work with him. Thank you all for your kindness, and we invite all of you to come and be our guest at the state fair this year. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, with that, we've got consent agenda knocked out. Do y'all want to undertake any items in new business?
I thought we were gonna go right to close.
Or we
since
can go
it's
right to
in the
close since we
agenda.
have several items.
Yeah.
We'll go to close now. All right, public, just so everybody is aware, we're gonna, we have our public hearing, our public comment period at 7:30. We do not do that early. So we will take care of our closed meeting items, try to do that now. And we'll be back as, hopefully promptly at 7:30 and then have our public comment period and then roll into the rest of our schedule or our agenda. Starting with item 3. So with that, we'll take a motion to go into closed meeting. Mr. Seeley.
Mr. Chairman, I move that this board convene in closed meeting pursuant to the real estate exemption of section 2.2-3711-8-3, the Code of Virginia, for discussion with county staff regarding the acquisition of real estate by the county in the Reedy Church District for a new county facility. The prospective business exemption under section 2.2-3711.A.5, the Code of Virginia, to discuss potential expansion of a prospective business in Reedy Church and Mattaponi districts about which no previous public announcements have been made. The legal and litigation exemptions under sections 2.2-3711.A.7 and A.8 of the Code of Virginia for updates on pending APA appeals involving the county, DEQ, and VMRC, as well as the condemnation and tax collection suits in the Port Royal District where such consultation and open meeting would adversely affect the litigating posture of the county, and the discussion of legal issues related to pending zoning application and proffers contained therein. To the legal counsel and contract exemption of section 2.2-3711.A.8 and A29 of the Code of Virginia for consultation with the county attorney and discussions with staff regarding proposals received to provide executive search services for the county administrator's office. I need a second.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Seeley and second by Mr. Thomas. Any other discussion? All those in favor of going into closed session, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we are now officially in closed session. So we will be back as close to 7:30 as possible.
18 pictured on this includes unserved areas along Goldsville Road, Bull Church Road to the north and to the south of Ladysmith Road, unserved portions of Ladysmith Road, South River Road, in the areas around Poplar Inn. If you are interested, you should call Reggie Spivey, Breezeline Sales, at 410-490-6082 to place an order for service. As of this evening, all areas 1 through 19 are open for sale. All areas south of the 207-301 line are now open for sale, as well as the two previously mentioned areas of GCV 18 and 19, which are north of Route 207. GCV 20 and GCV 22 are estimated to open for sale in August of 2026. GCV 20 covers Nancy Wright's Corner to the north and to the south, along Page Road to just west of Edge Hill Academy Road and the southern portion of Edge Hill Academy Road itself. GCV 21, 23, 25, and 26 are estimated to open for sale in the August-September timeframe. Areas along Page Road from Bowling Green west to Edge Hill Academy Road. To the north of Page Road, Guinea Station Road, Macedonia Road, north to the Spotsylvania County line, to the east to Corbin, Peppermire Hill Road, Route 17 at the Spotsylvania County line, back to an area just right near Ware Creek Road, where the existing service begins. GCV 24 is estimated to be open for sale in the September-October timeframe. This area includes Stonewall Jackson Road from the railroad tracks, Guinea Station Road to the north, Edge Hill Academy to the south, northern portion of that road, continuing down Stonewall Jackson to the Spotsylvania County line. To date, much progress has been made. Over 203 miles have been completed, with a large amount of additional fiber in the ground to be completed shortly. Well over 2,400 homes now have service available to them. Good evening. My name is David Sadler. I'm the Director of Information Technology for Caroline County. This is the broadband update from the Broadband Advisory Committee on July the 20th, 2026. There are a lot of changes in this month's report. Customers living in the areas of GCV 18 and GCV 19 can now place an order. A few minor delays. Property access GCV 18 and 19 pictured on this map includes unserved areas along Goldsville Road, Bull Church Road to the north and to the south of Ladysmith Road, unserved portions of Ladysmith Road, South River Road in the areas around Poplar Inn. If you are interested, you should call Reggie Spivey, Breezeline Sales, at 410-490-6082 to place an order for service. Unfinished private drives, not eligible. As of this evening, all areas 1 through 19 are open for sale. Response from the property owners will address this issue. All areas south of the 207-301 line are now open for sale, as well as the two previously mentioned areas of GCV 18 and 19, which are north of Route 207. Residents living in these areas GCV 20 and GCV 22 are estimated to open for sale in August of 2026. GCV 20 covers Nancy Wright's Corner to the north and to the south, along Page Road to just west of Edge Hill Academy Road and the southern portion of Edge Hill Academy Road itself. Go to the county website to the broadband page and click to submit your question. GCV 21, 23, 25, and 26 are estimated to open for sale in the August-September timeframe. Areas along Page Road from Bowling Green west to Edge Hill Academy Road. To the north of Page Road, Guinea Station Road, Macedonia Road, north to the Spotsylvania County
Addresses in
line,
the Charlesburg
the
area
east
that were
to
not
Corbin,
included in the
Corbin,
2023 grant with
Peppermire
Verizon will
Hill
be served
Road,
by IWIS.
Route 17 at the
IWIS
Spotsylvania
estimates
County line,
construction to begin
back
in
to
early
an area
2027.
just right
This
near
project will
Ware
take
Creek
approximately
Road
12
where the
months to
existing
complete.
service
The
begins.
project is currently being delayed by regulatory
DCV
requirements from the federal
24 is
government
estimated
that
to
do
be
not
open for
exist
sale
the
in the
state
September-October timeframe.
Addresses on the Wrightsville
This area
Road,
includes
Yates Road, and
Stonewall
K
Jackson
Street
Road
that were
from the
not
railroad
included in the
tracks, Guinea
2023
Station
grant
Road to the
are
north,
currently scheduled
Edge
to
Hill
be serviced
Academy
by
to the
Starlink.
south, northern
Caroline
portion of
County
that
is
road,
currently exploring
continuing
options
down
to
Stonewall
deliver
Jackson
improved
to the
broadband to
Spotsylvania
this
County
area.
line.
Need answers
To
to a
date,
question
much
or
progress
additional
has been made.
information?
Over
Again, the
203
Caroline County
miles have been
website, the
completed with a
broadband
large
page,
amount of
and the big
additional
orange
fiber in the
button.
ground to be
Submit your
completed
question
shortly.
to get you those
Well
answers.
over 2,400 homes now have
Our next
service
broadband update
available to them.
will be August the 17th,
Work is ongoing
2026.
across multiple zones.
This meeting can be viewed on
GCV
YouTube,
20,
just like this
21,
report on the county
22,
YouTube site.
24, 25,
Or
and
you can find more
26
information
are
on the county
currently seeing
website,
heavy construction. If you live in an area that's shaded blue on this map, you are likely seeing heavy construction in your areas at this time.
And submit your question.
The project has experienced a few minor
Have a good evening.
delays. Property access due to easement issues, as well as agricultural restrictions prohibiting access to fields during the planting season. Limited field access from spring to fall due to ag. Fields necessary for aerial construction are delayed until post-harvest. Other areas continue to be constructed around those agricultural areas to minimize delays.
start back. Us for being late. We had a lengthy and, I don't know,
Vigorous.
contentious isn't the right word, but vigorous, healthy, vigorous discussion in closed session. So, Mr. Seeley, if you would bring us out of closed session, that would be great.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Caroline County Board of Supervisors certify that to the best of each board member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempt from the open meeting requirement by Virginia law were discussed in closed meeting to which this certification applies. And only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the board.
All right,
Can
we
I
have a
get a
motion.
second?
Can we get a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Seeley, second by Ms. Long. All those in favor come out of closed session, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we are out of closed session. So we will certify that only legally exempted business matters were discussed in the closed meeting. Mr. Black, do you so certify?
I so certify.
Mr. Thomas, you so certify?
Certified.
I so certify. Mr. Seeley?
I so certify.
Ms. Long?
I so certify.
And Mr. Underwood? What are the lights doing? Okay. All right. So with that, we will move on to our, we're going to jump back to a presentation. Mayor Gamble,
Mayor Gamble is here.
come right up. Good evening.
Is this on? Yeah. Good evening. I'm Tina Gamble, Mayor of Bowling Green, and I'm very pleased to be here. Good evening to all of you. I had the privilege last month of going to Bowling Green, Kentucky, and at that visit, I came home. We are proud to say that we have a sister city in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And before I went, I had gotten with Mr. Seeley, Supervisor Seeley, because I wanted to include the county because we're so small. Bowling Green's tiny, and Caroline itself, the whole county isn't even as big as Bowling Green, Kentucky. So this adventure was just remarkable. Mr. Seeley directed me to Mr. Gary Wilson and to Miss Kathy Beard. They were lovely in providing me with a secretariat book and a secretariat coin to present to the city of Bowling Green. Bowling Green works very closely with their county, and they have many shared services. So they have a really tight partnership. I was presented with the key to the city, and Mayor Todd Alcott, retired Air Force colonel, presented me with my key to the city. He gave me a second key. He was so impressed that the county worked with me, and he wanted me, Mr. Seeley, if you would come down, wanted me to present you as our representative for the Bowling Green District with a key to the city from Mayor Todd Alcott. This is going to open up a plethora of economic advantages for us. But we will have shared markets, shared tourism, and this is going to open up tourism markets and economic markets. And I laid a vision out for them that we should get all of the Bowling Greens. They latched onto my vision. They are taking the lead. They want to start a Bowling Green network and have a nationwide network. And we will be working with different TV markets and different social media markets. This is going to be so beneficial, not just to my little town, but to our entire county. Mr. Seeley, on behalf of myself, but on behalf of Mayor Alcott, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tina and Mayor Gamble. And she had called me and told me that she was going, and when she came back, she was real excited. I think a Bowling Green trail of all the Bowling Greens across the country will be interesting because Bowling Green, Virginia is the original Bowling Green. Every other one is named after this, and you'll see them across the country, across trails. So I think this would be an exciting adventure for all of us. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank all of you.
Mr. Seeley, where are the other Bowling Greens located? This is Bowling Green, Kentucky.
There's one Bowling Green, Ohio. Go ahead, Tina.
That one is named after Bowling Green, Kentucky. Bowling Green, Kentucky was actually named after a garden area in New York called Bowling Green. There's a Bowling Green, Florida. There's a Bowling Green, Texas. And there are several others that are smaller. Some are unincorporated, but we plan to go after each and every one of them.
And I will note that Ohio and Kentucky did used to be part of Virginia anyway, so, you know.
Yes, exactly. So thank you all and have a blessed evening.
Thank you very much.
You.
Mr. Sadler, is it possible to get a little bit more light up here on stage? That's good. Thank you. All right, with that, we will move toward our 7:30 public comments. I apologize again, it is almost 8 o'clock. So we try to get as close to 7:30 as we can. At this point, you can come and discuss any matter of your choosing. You get 3 minutes to discuss whatever you'd like, as long as it's not something that we have held a public hearing on that we still haven't decided upon, or something that we will have in the foreseeable future. So if you would like to come on up and make some public comments, this is your opportunity. The public comment period is now open. Good evening.
Good evening, Chair Forehand, Vice Chair Seeley, and members of the supervisors. Good evening, I'm Sarah Calveric, the proud superintendent of CCPS. Tonight, I simply want to take a few moments to celebrate what your investment in Caroline County Public Schools helped make possible during the 25-26 school year. We recently completed year 4 of Achieve 2027, our 5-year strategic plan. From the beginning, Achieve 2027 has been about focusing our people, resources, and investments around 4 main priorities: teaching and learning, relationships, health and safety, and talent management. And as your superintendent, I want you to be aware of our progress, celebrate it with us, and most importantly, see the return on the investment this board and our community continue to make in our schools. That return begins with student achievement. This year, 100% of our schools were fully accredited, with Caroline High School earning the distinguished designation. CHS was also the top high school in Region 3 for employment outcomes, 3rd for enlistment, and top 5 in all 3 E-readiness categories. Evidence that our students are increasingly prepared to be enrolled, enlisted, and/or employed after graduation. Your investments also helped us expand opportunities. The Academies of Caroline, which on Mayor Gamble's coattails came from our visit to Lexington, Kentucky on a regionalism visit, the academies grew to 32 specific business partnerships. We expanded work-based learning and career-connected experiences and secured more than $200,000 in Go Virginia funding to expand high-demand CTE pathways that begin this year in GIS, drone technology, and information technology. We continued investing in the whole child, strengthening attendance, expanding access to school-based mental health services, and creating additional capacity through the new Bowling Green Elementary Villas, which added 6 classrooms while freeing space for instructionally appropriate, exceptional ed, gifted, counseling, and intervention services. And finally, we invested in our greatest resource, our people, through benefit enhancements, compensation, targeted staffing, professional learning, and retention strategies. Our employee retention rate increased 13% this past school year. So tonight, I simply want to say thank you. These results before you in the 25-26 hot off the press year in review booklet and on the year 4 Achieve 2027 document outline that these results belong to our students, our staff, our families, our school boards, our community partners, and to this board as well. Your investment in public education is producing results. It is building opportunity, strengthening our workforce, supporting families, and helping prepare the next generation of Caroline County. We're proud of year 4 achievements, and we look forward to finishing the 5th and final year of Achieve 2027 together as #OneCaroline. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? Anyone else? All right, well, seeing none, I will go ahead and close our public comment period. And we will move on to item number 3, which is the future discussion of, or further discussion of appropriation of the fiscal year 2026-2027 school operating fund. And Mr. Kelly.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. We prepared a memo after discussions with school staff, Dr. Calveric, on what they specifically asked for. As you remember, we planned and budgeted $1,030,000 for school operation fund. We didn't appropriate that. We level funded that until we found out what the state was doing. You have a letter in the packet where the schools have asked for additional $745,366 above that $1,030,000. That breaks down into $245,366, which basically covers the 4% raise that the state did for SOQ positions to the rest of the staff. And I think we talked about that number the night we had a meeting with them, that they can make it work without that, but then that would cut other things in their budget. So they're asking that the board cover that additional $245,000. And also they explained that they basically have about $1,700,000 of cost in extended services for students with needs that they are mandated to provide. A lot of that's contract. It's hard to hire those people locally. A lot of specialized services. And so you need lots of different resources that they have to contract for. They've covered that in their budget in the past by savings from, various unfilled positions and insurance differentials between what people take and what they budget, and would like for the board to pick up some of that so that they would have the ability to have that in the budget to pay for those additional services, of which they've averaged. Those are increasing. I think anybody understands that a lot of that is increasing as we have more and more people that have moved here, moving into the neighborhoods. We have students with other needs that are mandated by both the feds and the state to provide those services. So that's what it's basically those two things that they would like for you to consider above the $1,030,000 that we had set aside money for. Obviously, that would be coming from some of it would be from what we had budgeted, but I don't have that much that I moved to reserve. So some of it would be coming from the fund balance as the year went on. But that I believe with fund balance is strong enough, if we needed to do that and you felt it was appropriate, we would be okay. Any questions? And if you have any detailed questions, I would hope that the school Marcia, their CFO, would come up here, or Dr. Calveric to answer direct questions that I can't answer.
So we appropriated the $1,030,000.
We budgeted it. We have not appropriated
We budgeted.
it.
Okay.
What we need to do tonight is appropriate some number. I set aside and budgeted in the budget that $1,030,000.
Okay.
But it's not appropriated. And what we need to do is tell them we're going to appropriate a number. They will come back at our next meeting with their categories, their instruction, administration, attendance and health, transportation, technology, the different categories that we will then appropriate to. And that'll include the new money they got from the state as well.
I'll open up any discussion on the board. Mr. Black.
I have a question for Dr. Calveric, if you don't mind.
Don't.
When I was going through this board packet, one of the things I noticed in 2021, 2022, I saw that the special ed contracted services was at 545. And then in 25, 26, it had jumped 224 to 769. ADM has not, that is a huge percentage jump in comparison to ADM. And I was wondering, what is the reason? Is it just different definitions of special, I mean, I'm just kind of curious as to because I see the $500,000 request. I'm just, I guess,
Absolutely. To clarify, in 21-22, we had 545 students identified with disabilities,
right.
and the 232 jump based on our December 1 count of 25-26.
Right.
Just wanted to make sure that that was understood. That increase can be attributed to a number of factors. One, we all are very familiar with the increasing identification in the medical world with students with autism, attention deficit disorder, mental health disabilities that are now qualifying under other health impairment. So we're seeing a large increase in those arenas. We also have an influx of students. As a matter of fact, we just enrolled a couple this morning at Lewis and Clark that are arriving with IEPs. And so, of course, we are receiving these and accommodating the needs that are associated with them. The contracted service increase is directly correlating not only with an increase in numbers, but also there is a drastic critical shortage of occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech language pathologists. All of these experts are, I won't use the word fleeing, but for lack of another word to describe, they're departing from public school systems because they can go to private entities, set their own schedules, set their own caseloads, and make a greater amount of money. And so that is an appealing opportunity for many. So we have adjusted our scale so that we are more competitive, but we are fighting with all of our regional partners for the very few number of folks that are out there and interested in working in the public school system. So the contracted expenses are skyrocketing. It's actually something that we brought to the federal government over the summer when we went to lobby with legislators. It is a national crisis.
Yeah. Mr. Underwood?
Good evening, Dr. Calvert.
Good evening.
Can you just give me a guesstimation of the cost to educate our special needs students?
Oh, goodness. I do have our director of special education with us this evening. So if I could just turn around.
So we can kind of compare to what you normally spend in the building.
Sure.
Versus the added on services for car, for transportation, for.
Sure. I don't know that number off the top of my head. Let me see if our expert resident does. An approximate number. This is Paulette Heron. She's our director of exceptional education.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So approximately anywhere from 18,000 to 29,000 for our students in our intensive needs programs is roughly where we're budgeting for, because those are our highest need students, our most at-promise students.
Can you give me I know about 15,000 per student is what you spend for the regular student.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me an average for, like say you've got 700.
So if you want to average, I would say an average is about 20,000.
Okay, 20, yeah, because you have the high of 29,000 for some kids who have exceptional needs, and then you have some with maybe just inclusion in the classroom, or which are still included in that number for extra service or extra personnel. So
correct.
The high and the low. So 20,000. Okay,
yes,
so
sir.
About 5,000 more per student on average. Okay, thank you.
And to piggyback off of that, Mr. Underwood, I know many of you are keenly aware that this is a grossly unfunded federal mandate. If you look at the historic spending that we have received, or the appropriations we've received across the nation, in 2005, IDEA was receiving about $18 billion. And in this current year, it's down to $13 billion. And our populations are actually increasing across the United States. So we really are in a crisis moment. And as Mr. Cully was sharing, we've evaluated annually our contracted services to drive the cost down, and we're estimating around $1.7 million. And we do have a maintenance of effort requirement where we cannot necessarily diminish services. And so we have been handling this with some of the funding streams that Mr. Cully outlined, which are folks that do not take insurance or that are not filling positions. And that is not a stabilized pot of money. So we are trying to chip away to ensure that we have the funding that is needed to outfit our students with special needs with the services that are required by their IEPs.
Could I ask a question?
Mr. Thomas?
Were you done? Dr. Calveric, this particular special needs fund, the contracted services are across the year. You don't need 1.7 million tomorrow to fund the program.
No, sir. We actually, and again, please step forward, Mrs. Stevens or Ms. Herron, if I misspeak, but we go out to RFP and we have a whole bank of providers that are identified in compliance with that RFP process. And then each child's IEP determines the service that is needed. And so all of those annual IEP dates vary throughout the year. And so they ebb and flow. And each month we evaluate in a meeting the bills that are associated with the students that are receiving these contracted services.
Okay, so it's a monthly payment.
It is, yes.
Okay, so if we had to, just an option, we could pay you quarterly to kind of make up for that money if that was an option?
We would be, and I'll turn around and eyeball Mrs. Stevens just to make sure that she does not see any hurdle associated with that, but that is something I would be open to. If that's what you prefer, we certainly could come back and provide an updated report on the status of where we are.
Well, I'm just trying to get an option because there's a giant elephant in the room, and that's Mr. Cully's fact that we don't have our audit yet. So we're still trying to figure out how we ended the year before, and I've heard it's coming every day. I hear it's coming the next day or two. You got it in your hand?
No.
No.
If I would, you'd have it.
You know
that. We already appropriate their budget quarterly. So they'll get they've already gotten probably a first quarter payment level funded. So whatever you do, we'll have to adjust, but then they'll get a second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter appropriation of our local money. So we don't give them 19 million.
Oh, that I know.
July 1.
But my point is, we're going to give them, and the number was like 19,934,000.
Right,
It's
so
almost 20 million.
20 million, right.
But they'd get 5 million a quarter from the county. My question is, if we did this 500,000 in quarters, could we do that based on what we hear from the audit? You know, the audit says we're in great shape, blah, blah, blah. Then we say, okay, we feel better about it. We're not going to do it. If we didn't do it tonight, we could always come back and say, oh, here's some more money for that program.
You could always do that. You can always appropriate additional money during the year.
But the issue is, if they do RFPs, they need to go out.
Right.
And these contracts are for a year or throughout. So if we say we have money the first quarter, we don't have money second quarter, that still doesn't fulfill their need. That means they cut from another.
Right, they have to cut from somewhere.
Budgets. So I don't think we technically, I mean, we can, but we probably shouldn't, because that puts them behind the 8 ball in terms of whether they can or can't.
Yeah, it's 125,000
that puts them in the position of saying, we've committed to doing this and we need some more money from the board. And the board would say in, October, February, and June, whatever, here's X amount of dollars more.
Yeah, but you're talking about 125,000 in each quarter for that.
Yeah.
I don't believe the audit's going to come back that's any different. That's going to make you change your mind, whether that is
okay.
Not from the numbers that we've sent them. So unless they found something they haven't conveyed to us, I think we're good in the fund balance.
Yeah. Now make sure we keep track of all the stuff we take out of the fund balance that wasn't part of the.
Mr. Black,
Dr. Calveric, and I know we've talked about this before, but can you, I don't know if you have the numbers with it, and I think you mentioned at the work session, the 4% compensation, how does it break down as far as what the county has to put in versus what the state has to put in for you guys? So if we did, all in, I think Ms. Stevens is coming because, the 4% only covers the SOQ positions. So then you have other people that aren't compensated and you don't want to do that, so.
In relation to what was shared during workshop, our state contribution is $1,034,082. Our local required match is $551,447, and the unfunded portion is $245,366.
You're asking the 246 from us, because you're putting in the 5, which is at the last meeting, correct?
No, we're putting in, we're putting in
The
5.
500 is your required match.
Right. So you're asking for 7 total.
To fund the 4%,
fund-
which would be inclusive of
8.
all employees. Yes, sir.
It's really 8,
So
I guess. Yeah, 551 plus 247 is roughly 800.
Right. So 800,000, yeah.
Right.
From this body, okay.
For clarity, and you may have just said that, I apologize.
Okay.
The 551,447 is included already within Mr. Cully's proposed 1,030,000.
I was just looking for, I
1,030,000.
understand that. I was just looking for the breakdown of like when the state says 4%,
Absolutely.
How much is the state putting in versus how much is the county putting in? That's
Right.
like, I understand the way it's been difficult because the state budget did not come out until June 29th or June 28th. So it's made it difficult on all of us. I mean,
Yes.
I think that's a reality in talking with supervisors in other localities. It's been a pain.
Most definitely. And I will share that this is a place where we do have common agreement where we need to lobby together. And as the president of VAS, I've just sat down and we went through our priorities for legislation this year, and this is indeed one of them. So you'll be hearing more about the fact that we do not want raises being delivered from the state that are requiring the local match. It's just too much of a strain on the localities.
In the VACO meetings that I go to, there's several localities that are rural that have rejected because they can't
They
afford
have not had the ability to achieve
They
it.
simply can't afford it.
Absolutely.
And that is, you're putting a burden on a locality and it makes it sound like, hey, the state's giving us this huge raise.
Right.
When in reality, the county, whatever county it is a lot of times picking up the burden of the
Right.
cost. And the state says, hey, we gave you a 4% raise.
And you potentially bear the negative story on your shoulders with
right.
the staff. I
Yes.
understand that. Yes, sir.
Dr. Calvert,
That's why.
one last thing.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
This is the last one. How much money for contracted services did we get from the state?
We don't necessarily get money that is specifically earmarked for contracted services. We get at-risk add-on funds, and then we earmark
No, I was waiting for you to
monies.
say nothing.
So there is no line item that is earmarked for contracted services, but they are keenly aware that this is an issue across the state.
And see,
But-
Mrs. Stevens was shaking her head, and the fact that we're getting
am I incorrect?
no money from the state for contracted services, it's all whatever the federal government gives us.
Well, they kind of look at special education all together. So they do SOQ and they do the special ed add-on. So just off the top of my head, we reported about $13 million in special ed expenses last year. About $4 million of that is state funded for special ed pots of funding. The remainder is about $1 million is on the feds and the remainder is on the locality.
Thank you very much.
And Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Underwood?
Thank you. And Dr. Calvert, that was I guess, a few meetings ago when we talked about grants and we had the big, and
Right.
that was my concern, is that the grant still costs the taxpayer. Most grants, and if it's personnel or money that we have to match, it then costs the taxpayer. And all I'm trying to do is just be transparent with folks to let them know that there's no such thing as free money. And this required match is the way of saying that we either support what the state is doing or we don't support, rather than we support schools or don't support schools. That's from my perspective. So that's how
Sure.
I look at it. And
I
that,
understand, and I don't disagree with the second half of what you shared, but for clarity in the community, the grants that we came before you with required no local match.
right, those did not, right. I'm
Those
just-
were monies that were free and clear of any local dollar and
Correct.
cents. Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I will make a motion that we approve the additional $745,366 for the raise as well as the special needs services.
Contract services.
Yes. Over and above, yes. Yes. That's my motion. Over and above the 1,030,000 that Mr. Cully had put in his original budget.
What's the total amount?
1 point, we gotta do the quick math.
So it's $745,000, 366. Does that
Yeah.
sound right?
But then plus because he has to,
Plus 1 million.
plus 1,030,000, which, does someone have a? Yeah, you have it? What's the total?
Looks like $1,775,366.
All right, so 175,366, is that what you have?
1.775,000.
Yeah, 1,775,366.
Right, that would take the total of local money for the school fund, operating fund, $20,711,696.61.
Okay.
That includes this additional and the 1,030,000 that we're talking about.
Is everyone clear on that?
Yeah. Clear as mud.
No, we don't.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that. I just want to point one thing out to Dr. Calveric in the future is we will now be over $1 million in our required local match. I'm just.
That is correct.
Be aware that, trends change.
Absolutely.
And we will be ahead of the curve. And I'm just being mindful that we're over $1 million ahead. And I know you say that cheerfully, but I do know that trends change financially for us, and that at some point we may have to lean on that. I'm not saying that it's
Absolutely.
coming tomorrow, but I'm just saying that in the future that could be leaned on because we're ahead, and what goes up comes down at some point in time.
Absolutely. I actually ran those statistics before coming up here because I thought that may come up. And if we were just doing the originally proposed 1,030,000, that would put you at $294,169 above the required local match, which is about 1.5% above. And by doing this additional funding, it actually puts you at 5.28% above required local match, which is exciting because if you take a look at our local composite index, it's been very stable while our per pupil expenditure has decreased. We're actually farther behind when you look at the state. Now, if you look at FY25 data, which is what's live on the VDOE website, in comparison to 2015, we were 112th out of 131 in 2015 for per pupil local expenditure. And now we were 107th. Now we're 112th. So we're losing ground, even though our local composite index has remained stable. So this is a step in the right direction.
All right, well, we have a motion by Mr. Black and a second by Mr. Seeley to add $745,366 to the $1,030,000 already appropriated or already budgeted. Okay.
It's not appropriated, it's budgeted. This will all be appropriated, and then the school board will come back to us with the allocations by category.
Correct. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, on to item number 4, new business, proposed economic development incentive agreement between the County of Caroline, the Caroline County Economic Development Authority, and Publix North Carolina LP.
Yeah, that's.
I'll handle this one, if that's okay with everybody. So this is, and the reason I'm handling this is that this is a contract, and I helped negotiate and draft this contract off the county, but it's a little different from how you typically see these. So I wanted to walk through the sequencing a bit and set the stage for you. So this is a incentive agreement. You've done incentive agreements in the past. What's different here is that typically what we see is you'll have a rezoning application seeking some kind of change to a property zoning to allow for a development. And as part of that rezoning application, you learn about precisely what's going to happen at the development, where things are going to be located, what the proffers are going to be, things like that. And then if that's approved, you come back with an incentive negotiation to say, okay, well, in order for this to make this development happen, these are the economic incentives the county is willing to offer. And those typically take the form of some kind of rebate based on the increased tax value that the development's going to create. The difference here is that this development is on a portion of the property that's already zoned for the use. So you don't have to go through that rezoning process. So the first time you're interacting with this proposed development, which is a Publix grocery store, you are doing it through this incentive negotiation because we don't need to go through the rezoning part. This incentive, the way this agreement is structured, is that it is for the development of a grocery store on the portion of the parcel that allows for grocery and other retail by right. And so I wanted to explain that up front. And that's why this is the first time you're having a discussion about this grocery store project, because it's on a by right portion of the property. But the agreement itself basically details the type of incentive that the county is willing to offer to Publix to locate and develop a grocery store there. The staff report has a summary of that incentive, but in short, it's up to $3 million generated from the tax revenue that is paid into the county from this project. The incentive is capped at either at the lesser of $300,000 or 50% of the tax revenue that's generated from the project. So, would per year, yeah, for a maximum term of 10 years. So whichever number is lower is what the county would provide as an incentive. And again, that's being paid out of all the tax revenues that the project is generating. And the agreement has a 14-year term. So that gives them a few years to get up and running, start paying in tax revenues from which the incentive can be calculated, and then collect the full 10 years of the incentive if the project is up and running in a few years. The one thing I'll add is, this is, like I said, the first stage of the project. I'm sure there's going to be other, parts of the business part of this that don't really involve the county that, but nonetheless need to be completed by Publix to bring a store to the county. But this is the first step to get the incentive in place, and then it's going to rest with Publix to put together the development in a fashion that's workable for them and allows them to bring the store to the county. But this is the first request, which is approval of this agreement by the board. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Mr. McKenzie, I'll go first. If the currently proposed parcel is a no-go and someone, say, a half mile down the road on Route 1 either way, or on Ladysmith Road for that matter, decided they had 10 acres they wanted to sell for this purpose, this is transferable to a different project?
It would have to be amended. This is site specific.
Okay.
So that this is specific to not just this parcel, but that the portion of the parcel that was approved for this use via rezoning quite some time ago.
I think the entire parcel is zoned
Yeah.
business, if I'm right.
2001.
Yeah,
recollection.
the parcel is zoned for planned shopping center. That's so it is this type of use is contemplated for the whole parcel, but that rezoning in 2000 proffered a concept plan that said this is what this whole shopping center is going to look like, and what this is doing is fitting within the portion of that concept plan that allows retail grocery as a by right use. So to transfer it to another parcel we would, it's doable, but you would have to amend the definition of the site. And again, that comes back to the notion that, the county is only approving an incentive for the portion of the property that doesn't require any further entitlements from the board. And so if they were to move to a different parcel, we'd have to conduct that analysis and either determine that it too is zoned by right for the shopping center or go through the zoning process.
So, and that, can I ask?
Yes.
So that brings up a secondary question. So let's say on the other part of this is just for that part of the parcel. So in other words, let's say some other businesses come in on the part where Publix is not going. So they don't get that incentive. It's only between us and the Publix.
Correct. This
Okay.
is specific to Publix. This is just with Publix, and Publix has been very clear that they are only doing the grocery store, and that this incentive is just to Publix for their grocery store and limited to the development of a grocery store in the area shown on the concept plan where a grocery store would be by right. But any other development on the parcel, any other incentives or entitlements that need to happen with that development would be a separate issue, apart from this incentive to Publix.
All right, Mr. Thomas.
A question, yeah. Mr. McKenzie and maybe Mr. Wilson will answer this. Did Caroline, as is, fit into Public's normal relocation policy?
I'll defer to Gary on that one. Mr. Wilson.
Publix is pretty unique in grocery stores in that they don't publish specific guidelines as to the criteria for making their decision. We were not exactly in their sights for a decision for this store because of our rooftops, lack of population, just wasn't compelling. We've been after this for several years. Got the same answer each time. So no, we're not ideally situated to recruit this store, but we have managed it with some help.
Well, that's what I wanted to make sure that everybody understood, especially from your perspective as the economic development director. I don't know how many times we've been told you don't have enough rooftops for whatever business or industry we're trying to recruit. So there are times when the county has to provide incentives to recruit a business or industry earlier than they had normally planned.
Well, indeed. In fact, there's an example of this elsewhere. In Fredericksburg in 2009, I believe, they incentivized Wegmans with $1.7 million to come to Fredericksburg. And they had a actual marketing area population of about 250,000 people. So it's not a done deal if you have a lot of people to serve a particular retail investment. It has to be something that meets their internal decision-making process, and they're not sharing that with us. But there are reasons to think that we might have a chance with Publix where we weren't having any chance with, let's say, Kroger's, and we tried Lidl and Aldi and those sort of folks and got blank no's.
Well, thank you for your hard work and your staff on this. So
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
I got Mr.
Seeley.
So Mr. Wilson, this is the first step in Publix, is this agreement between the tax revenue and them. There are other hurdles, activities that have to take place that have nothing to do with the county, between the developer and the grocery store, and how all of that, how they sort that out, how they divvy all this up is completely out of our hands after this.
That's correct. What you've done, if you should pass this performance agreement, is simply open the path for their decision to be here to work through the rest of the process.
Because the rezoning was the first, this is the second, everything else falls on somebody other than us, correct?
Very much so, yes, sir.
I'm just trying to make that clear because, we've been through other projects where we've done what we considered to be all we could do as a board. And then other outside forces, descend, and we don't have any way of fending those off. So I'm just saying the first two, the zoning and a performance agreement, are really our sole responsibilities in this, in terms of bringing Publix.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Forehand.
Mr. Underwood?
I have none, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Black?
Yeah, I just want to go back to, when people look at the incentives, I remember a conversation, Mr. Wilson, you were in a couple of summers ago when we had with Publix. And one of the things that I remember clearly in that conversation is that the gentleman from Publix was saying, hey, like, we're having the conversation. He said, look, when you build Publix, you know, his job was to build Publix where it's going to be most profitable for Publix.
That's right.
And I remember him talking in this conversation, he talked about like different areas that they were going to put Publix at that time. I think that was 2 years ago or so. And, you know, we just didn't, in the numbers that he shared, we were not in the same ballpark as, I think he brought up Macon, Georgia, or different areas. And so that's kind of one of the reasons why the incentive is to bring them, because we're probably, if you look at that, and the numbers, we may not still be there if it was just natural rooftops. Okay, I mean, we're growing, but I don't think the numbers were there. He talked about other things that they were looking for in that conversation. But that is a big thing. I did want to ask you, and I think it's important, is 2 years ago, we had hired a company called Retail Strategies. And what have they done on this project, or how important have they been in helping you?
Well, I think they've actually been instrumental. They brought to us data that we did not have access to, or would have cost us a lot of money to obtain. And one of those was to redefine the market area that Publix should look at to determine whether or not we are viable. Standard practice in this kind of recruitment is to draw a circle around wherever that site is, 1, 3, 5 miles out, maybe 10, to show the rooftops, what the population is, all the demographic, financial, and that sort of information that they would use to analyze and make a decision. What Retail Strategies was able to do is demonstrate our market area is vastly larger based on what's going on with Food Lion. Food Lion has a very large area of service, and that, if you just put ourselves in that same larger market area, it far surpasses the numbers that at least 4 times as many rooftops and population than what currently exists here. So that's a strong number for us. The other thing they did, I thought, was exceptional, is they used the right software and companies that have the access to the marketplace. It shows that we're leaking $48 million worth of sales and groceries outside of the county. It's $48 million that we should have in the county being spent here that the board can then receive sales taxes from and so forth. That's a compelling number as well. That demonstrates that no matter how well Food Lion is doing, and they're doing exceptionally well, that there's still a lot of room for growth, and that is another compelling number. Finally, I think that it's really, when you hire Retail Strategies, what you're doing is you're demonstrating that you're very serious about getting this job done. You're getting people who specialize in retail recruitment, and that's exactly what they do. They have a long-term relationship with Publix. They've helped them in other locations. When they say that Caroline County is viable, they listen to that. So I think they've been very instrumental in making this happen.
I do want to say that it's really, really important. I would say if there's one business that is a true need in this county, as far as a want in this county, it is another, like a grocery store is something that, you know, a lot of people have been clamoring for a while. So I do want to thank you, and I want to thank the Retail Strategies, whoever has been involved, because it has been a long road. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions?
Yeah, I will make the motion to accept the incentive agreement between Caroline County Economic Development Authority and Publix, the County of Caroline, the Caroline County Economic Development Authority, and Publix North Carolina LP.
Second.
Could you just, in your motion, clarify that the chair or the county administrator is authorized to sign on behalf of the county.
All right, and then with that motion, either Mr. Forehand or the county administrator are authorized to sign the performance agreement.
Second again.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Black and a second by Mr. Thomas to approve the performance agreement with Publix, and that the county administrator or the board chair has authority to sign that agreement. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next, we have item number 5, which is review of SBX 06-2021 Wellbone Energix Solar.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. The Board of Supervisors approved special exception permit SPEX 06-2021 on August 9th, 2022 for a minor solar energy project located on Route 2 in the Port Royal District. And in accordance with condition number 24 of that special use permit, the conditions, this permit is subject to a 2-year review by the Board of Supervisors from the date of approval. Because the applicant has not commenced any construction on the proposed facility to date, the permit is void in accordance with the conditions of the permit and the applicable provisions of the zoning ordinance. In addition to that, the property owner for this property has terminated the lease with the applicant. And so I think if you recall, in June, we came and did a review for another solar project, and then this is essentially the same scenario. This is a no action item by the board. This is just to let you know that, to inform you that this SPEX has indeed voided in accordance with the conditions of the approval. So.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes.
Mr. Hughes, there are currently no approved solars facilities in the county.
That is correct, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Hughes, I also wanted to point out, just so the public knows, that the property has also been placed under a conservation easement.
Yes, that is correct.
But
So
we
there's
had
no
3
action.
approved solar facilities at one point, correct?
Yes, if you recall, in June, there was, the one we did in June was kind of a combination. It was 2.
Yeah,
Right.
there were three total.
3 total, and there were 2 that expired in June, and now this one is expired.
All right, any other comments, questions by the board before we move on? Thank you very much, Mr. Hughes. All right, item number 6, proposed supplemental appropriations to the FY 26-27 planning inspections budgets.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, in the FY 27 budget submittal, planning and inspections asked for increased personnel and to keep pace with the sharp increase in building permit applications and site plan reviews, building inspections, environmental inspections. And while we were able to fund 3 of those positions in the adopted budget, that's a combination plan reviewer, environmental inspector, and a combination building inspector. There were positions that we did not fund in the adopted budget. And after recent discussions with Mr. Hughes and Jason Dowd, the building official, we do believe that we do need to ask for additional positions to keep pace and deliver the type of customer service that we are looking for and strive to achieve. Admittedly, we don't like to do this so early in the fiscal year, but again, we're convinced that we do need to take some action to improve on that front. So the ask is actually twofold. One is to actually authorize advertising a starting salary for 2 of the positions that are already approved in the adopted budget at a significantly higher salary so that we can attract qualified applicants. And those 2 positions are the combination plan reviewer and the combination building inspector. The response to both of those advertisements has been very minimal. And after conversations with Mr. Hughes, Mr. Dowk, we think we need to adjust that, the starting salary that we offer up significantly, keep it in the same grade, but just at a much higher step. So for the combination plan reviewer position, we currently have it posted at a grade L step 2, which is just over $67,000. And the combination building inspector is currently posted at a grade K step 1. We would like to take the combination plan reviewer position up to grade L step 14, which is about just under 87,000, and adjust the combination building inspector up to step 11, which is a little over $76,000. So that's the first ask. The second is to add 2 new positions, a code enforcement inspector with the ability to advertise a starting salary up to step 4 of grade H, which is $53,545. And the second is an administrative assistant position in planning with the ability to advertise a starting salary up to step 2 of grade E, which is $41,428. The total cost of all that I just described is just short of $220,000. Again, it would enable us to advertise 2 positions that are already in the approved budget at significantly higher salaries and hopefully get more qualified candidates. And then also add 2 new positions, code enforcement inspector and an administrative assistant. Again, $220,000. Proposed source of funds is the undesignated general fund balance. And if you have specific questions, want more detail, I would defer to Mr. Hughes and Mr. Dahl.
Mr. Chairman, I do have a question.
All right, Mr. Underwood.
Mr. Hughes or Mr. Building Official, Jason, what's the amount of business that we're working with now in the county that we have either under contract or pursuing at this point?
So right now, in the county, we have total values of projects in our department right now is over $2 billion.
So let me.
That was a B.
That was with a B.
$2 billion.
That was with a B. If you recall some months ago, it was like 980
million, right? So we have $2 billion of either contracted or planned business in the county. The funds that come from this office, do they go to the general fund or do they go to a separate fund? Mr. Cullen, because I'm reading state code and I'm just trying to figure out if we are.
This year for 27, they're going in, the revenue is going to its own fund and will be transferred to the general fund to pay expenses.
You're saying the money that's generated from their department,
the permit fees, correct?
Permit fees go into a separate fund.
Inspections fund. Right. There's no expenses in the inspection fund other than a transfer to the general fund. The auditors wouldn't let me set them up as an enterprise fund the way fund for utilities is set up, where the expenses and the revenues are all in one fund. They would not allow that. Okay. So to collect the revenue, so it's not mixed in the general fund, it is collected now in a separate fund.
And the state code, and Mr. McKenzie, you can help me with state code 107-1, authority for charging fees, said that the money that's generated shall be used. So why are we putting that in the general fund if it should be used for?
Their expenses are in the general fund. They're paid out of the general fund. So I'm collecting
so
the
with-
revenues now in
with-
its own fund so we can track them. And so if their expenses are less than the revenues, then those revenues will build up in that fund. So that fund will have a fund balance.
So we're tracking their revenues separately,
We
correct?
always have.
Right, we
But
always have.
but they were in the general fund revenues.
And have they, in the recent years, have they been above?
Most, but not all.
in-
We did a 10-year look back. Not all of them did their expenditures were in the teens sometimes were more than the
Well, not all
revenues.
is anything, that's perfect, so. On average, they're
On
under.
average, they make more
make-
money than they spend.
And with $2 billion.
That's the value of the buildings.
Buildings, right, I'm understanding. I understand that. But that would suggest to me that there's money for fees coming in as a result of projected business or business that's going to be in the county, correct?
Correct.
So I'm just trying to understand why we can't, or why we haven't funded these positions, knowing that we're increasing in business and that revenue is, that businesses are looking at the county and continue to look at the county, and the better that we can do our job from an inspector or building perspective, the more likely they are to come and do business with us. If we're lacking or not efficient, for a better word, in turning around plans or whatever, we do have the additional funds to pay the higher salary for these people is what I'm getting to, correct?
I would think you would have the funds to pay the additional on the two that are funded. I'm not sure adding the person in planning is not funded by inspection, so that'll be funded out of general fund. The code enforcement inspector would be funded out of the general fund. That's not inspection. Inspection is a building official, the plan reviewer, building inspectors. But these people in planning are not funded from inspections.
But the positions that we're asking, those are certified positions, correct? That require certain certifications, am I correct?
The two you increase the salaries are. The
Right.
code enforcement's not necessarily
Right,
certified.
well, let's go back to those two first.
The first two that Alan talked about are required certifications.
So is the salary that we're, and Mr. Chairman, excuse me if I'm going to, if the salaries that we have now, the 87.
Correct.
And
We can
76,
cover that, I
do you-
think, from the permit fees.
Right, so are we in the ballpark in terms of what a certified person would ask in
I
terms of?
thought that's what they asked for.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, that's what they asked.
That's what I want to know.
Yes.
I mean, they're here, that's why.
Yeah, the increase is to get us in the ballpark. What we've heard predominantly when we've reached out or had other people reach out to jurisdictions, they said, yeah, we love you, we'd love to come work for you, but not for that. So that's been pretty much the same tone when you reach out to a person who has the level of certification that will be required as a combination inspector, which in general is a very unique set of certifications to have even acquired, as most jurisdictions in the area get specialized into certain trades, whereas we're still, just because of our department size, combination inspectors. So we have multiple certifications out of one individual. So
Based on what we're looking at in terms of growth, business growth in the county, are we where we need to be, or do we still need to look at going further in next year or the year after in terms of what we see coming down the pike? You know, you look down the track and you see a light coming, you can stand there and get hit by the train, or you can say, oh, it's a train, I need to move.
Sure.
So are we in the saying that it's coming and we need to move, or are we going to wait to be hit by the train?
right. So the positions that we've asked for, I think I've communicated that this will get us to square, to give us enough breathing room. I have no intention to add extra positions that we don't need. This will give me enough room to identify whether we'll need new positions in the next budget cycle.
That gives you an evaluation tool, then you'll come back and say,
Absolutely.
this
But-
works or we need to go further.
But I would agree with you, especially on our larger sites. I can say that the critical path for nearly every one of our large sites is actually my department, unfortunately. So
And how soon does it take to get a person up to snuff? If you hired a person in 2 weeks,
so
how quickly can you get that person?
with no level of certification?
With certifications.
Oh, with certifications? If they have certifications, yeah, I mean, probably a 2 to 3 week ride along just to get an understanding of our policies and procedures, and then they're on their own.
Should we offer incentives for people who are certified?
Indirectly, we do, because the salary that we will give them is going to be based upon the level of certification.
Okay.
So
That's right.
you know,
Okay.
Mr. Underwood, can I just interject one question here?
Mhm.
What does this do to the people you already have? Because in my arena, when I start playing with this, the people that are already in place, that are employed, end up being stepped on because they've been there longer. Yeah, they're making a little more, but they've got all this. So what does this do to the folks that are already in place?
Our typical compression issue.
right? Yeah, absolutely. I can only say that the people that are currently in place have for years done more with less than any people that I can think of. When I step into their arena, when an individual just takes a time off for a dentist appointment, I realize how lucky I am, and that you all and the county is to have them, because as much as they can do in a period of time is abnormal. And I just think that probably goes not
But
said as much as
does this change, and where I'm going is, when we do this, do we need to do something for the folks that are already here to separate? Because I face this in what I do all the time, new contract, move somebody to a contract that was bid a long time ago. How do we keep the distance between them? I'm looking for a good word.
So, one thing that I can say is the positions that we're hiring, they're at a senior level. So they are on a different step or grade than the ones we will be hiring. But I'll advocate for my personnel for sure. If there's an opportunity there for them to see a higher salary, I'm all for it. So
I'm concerned about the compression and I'm just saying that I don't want to, we're talking about this and I don't want to neglect folks that are already there, because somebody comes in brand new with half of what they've got for $10,000 less than they're making, because I know what a rift that creates. I'm just making everybody aware.
And the fees fund the salaries, correct?
that's right.
So the question is, to me, is, are there enough funds within being generated with our fees to cover the cost of looking at all of those, Mr. Sealy, from top to bottom, and to make sure that are there funds there? I mean,
Well, in terms of fees, Mr. Underwood, I mean, we've had this discussion that our fees have not been adjusted since 2011. And so, there's
I think it's time.
I would agree.
So what do we need to do?
Well, we are in the process of doing the research, the necessary internal research to adjust our fees. And as I said before, the requirement is that your fees are based on the time it takes for you to produce a procedure. And so we have to understand the time it takes and the cost for us to do
So there's a correlation between the two.
Yes.
Of what your fees are and how well you can manage the process. Get me through the process.
Yes, if you have people to do the
process.
process.
That's managing the process. People is managing.
Correct.
Therefore, if you have the people, as I said earlier, and you can move the process quicker, you can move more people through the turnstile. Correct? Means you generate more fees, which means you have more money to pay those folks in the whole in the budget or in the fee structure. Correct?
Yes.
And some
So-
of it is.
So it would behoove us then to find a solution to increase our fees to the point that it generates the monies necessary to make this department what it should be and as efficiently as possible. And we should expedite that rather than say we're working on it. Since if it's 2010 and we're at 2027, basically, 26, 27, then we are losing money exponentially daily. So this needs to be a priority from every department that has a finger on the pulse to do something expediently. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'm finished. I think I was next.
Mr. Foreham, who's next?
I just have one comment. We've kind of self-fulfilled our prophecy because Mr. Hughes was reluctant to change fees because we didn't want fees to far exceed our expenses. And then we start lagging behind because even some people on this board didn't believe that we were going to have the building that we have right now 6 months ago. The capital, the value, that has kind of prompted the extra immediate need. And, you know, are we seeing a light? I think we're on a bridge and we see a light coming. Now we're starting to run.
It's the train.
Because we know it's a train coming and we got to run to the end of the bridge, jump off side of it. We've already given direction, Mr. Hughes, to assess the fee structure. I think that's already underway. I think we're taking a really good second and third step, getting these individuals hired. I will tell you from my experience with the company that I'm employed with now, we are in Henrico County, and they're struggling to keep up with the volume of work that is happening there. I mean, much larger organization, just because there's an immense amount of growth in the Richmond area right now. It's all hands on deck, and we are no different at this point. So,
Can I add that point? 'Cause
yes, sir.
That's the one I wanted. Mr. Hughes, $2 billion worth of building plans are in your office, right? Potential projects. If you don't have more people, you can't really estimate, but isn't there a great potential that we could lose some of those businesses that we're planning on getting?
Sure.
Okay, and we've all seen that happen in the past few years because the business is going to say, I have a problem getting into Caroline because whatever, I'm going to go somewhere else. And that's happened.
Sure, we could get the reputation of not being able to get projects from beginning to end in an efficient enough manner, and not compete in the region.
Which is really the critical factor in the whole thing, is how much can we lose? And we're not really factoring that in. Okay, and the other question I had was, you have to have a certification to read plans?
Can you answer that? Most definitely. Yep. There.
How do you get a certificate? That's something you can do in high school.
Yeah. With a whole lot of training and a couple of tests and DHCD classes. Yeah. So, yeah. The plan reviewer position is definitely one that's when we've advertised it at the rate that we have, is we get little to no experience whatsoever. So it's for me personally, I'm taking on the commercial plan review role, and so that just hampers everything else, including the fee schedule adjustment, which is burning me up to do. So.
But you don't have to do anything, and it's maybe a little specific, but you don't have to do anything but read the plan and see if that complies with our building code.
I wish it was that simple. So yes, in theory, that's correct, except the code is a stack of books like this that reference a stack of books that's probably higher than the ceiling of this, auditorium. So it's an extensive amount of code and reference to materials that you have to comply with. So
that's where the catch will be. the reference to materials and things of that nature and not knowing what the symbols on the plans mean.
Sure.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Mr. Forehand, my turn now?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I'm certainly in favor of this. I've been hanging out and getting in the way over at planning a little bit since a certain project that got turned down last month was in front of me, looking at maps and going over things and reviewing. They are so busy and they are so crowded. That space is too small. And I think Mr. Cully has gotten a plan to get that so that they have some room to spread out. I mean, the map machines take up a whole room for printing these maps that we have. And yes, you can hire people, but people need someone who could go with them until they get the feel for the county and know our codes and our regulations. And it's going to take a little time, but they definitely need more space and they need more people. The people who are there are working so hard. They are going to be so relieved to have somebody come and take some of that pressure off of them. I don't think they're going to sit around and worry about, oh, well, I could get that money and work harder, because I don't think they can work any harder. They need more people and they need more space. So I am totally behind this. If we're going to grow, and we're getting pushed from both sides, we're going to have more inspectors, more GIS people, more of everything in the planning department. So I expect this to be one of probably future things that we're going to see from this department that are going to need financing, such as trailers or building additions, as well as more people in that department. So I would say that we move forward with this.
Mr.
Black.
I just want to thank you guys for being brutally honest when we met over the summer. Thank you for the brutal, we need it, So thank you very much, and thank you for working on the phone calls that we had and discussions we had, Mr. Hughes, on the various projects. So I hope this is a big relief to you guys. I mean, you guys have obviously, we're growing at a rapid pace, and it's, you guys are drowning. So hopefully this is kind of a little bit of a lifesaver for you, a life raft. So wish you luck on it, and I fully support it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Need a motion, Mr. Chairman.
We do need a motion, don't we? All right. Who would like to do the honors?
Would you like a motion?
I would like a motion.
I'll let
you go, Mr. Underwood. Somebody's cat got your tongue.
Oh, I got you. I thought Mr. Underwood was taking it.
I was, but that's up to, doesn't matter.
No, you can go for it.
I propose that we add the supplemental appropriations to the FY 26-27 budget for planning and planning and inspections budget.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Underwood and a second by Ms. Long and Mr. Black. I'm sorry, Mr. Black, to approve the appropriation of $219,660.29. Add that to the proposed 2026-2027 budget for planning and inspections personnel. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
Thank
All right.
you.
Now, item number 7, a discussion on biosolids and groundwater protection issues.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
This is something that I called Mr. Cully in regards to, and I know that there's an issue with water across the country, but particularly when we look at Caroline County, the chemicals that are in the biosolids that we're allowing, that the state is allowing to be used on agricultural land. David, could I have that slide for a second, if I could, please? I just want to put up a slide to show you these are all the places in the county where we're dumping biosolids within the county. You know that most of our residents in the rural areas are on wells, and all of these biosolids are going into the soil and are contaminating drinking wells, but we don't know what ones are, and the PFAS that are in the soil. None of the adjacent properties have been tested. So what I'm asking the board to do is we need to write a letter to DEQ demanding that if they're going to allow biosolids to be placed on properties in the county, that they test adjoining properties to ensure that people's wells aren't contaminated with PFAS and PFOs, which are proven to cause cancer and Parkinson's and all other kinds of disease. So I'm just wanted the board to see what's going on in the county. Remember, these are shallow wells that a lot of people are on, and this is directly going into the soil.
And Mr. Underwood, if I could add on to that, I was at a lecture where they covered the biosolids of the PFAS that are chemicals that you can't get rid of, and
Forever chemicals.
they're forever.
Yes.
They're not going anyplace. They're in the ground. They're in the water. They're not going to go anyplace. And it was darn scary. And one of my thoughts is I understand it's got to go someplace, and I understand the fertilizer possible cost savings. I'm not sure if it is, especially now that we know more about these chemicals. But I definitely think that ground testing is something to consider. And also, if anybody brings sludge into the county, I think it needs to be tested. And the farmers aren't going to like that, I know, but there are a lot of safer fertilizers out there that they could use. But we do have to protect our citizens and our groundwater. And I hope that different counties all around are looking at this to see what we can do to make it safer for the future, safer for our water, and also doable for our agricultural industry.
You know, I'm sure Mrs. Long, you know that the county used to control the application of biosolids.
They used to.
But the county used to through rezoning and different special exceptions, but the state decided to take that authority away from local government, so they've given it to the House of Delegates.
That's what I was coming up to talk about, but the more recent bit, and I can certainly dig more into this. This is just something that kind of came to mind. But the General Assembly did pass a law this session relating to this issue, and specifically relating to PFAS and land application of biosolids. And there is the law that's already out there that preempted local authority on this quite some time ago. And that law has been amended to increase the regulatory oversight of that type of thing and give local governments a little bit of authority back to adopt ordinances relating to this. Unfortunately, it has a delayed effective date. It goes into effect January 1, 2027. But we can certainly start, provide you with or I can provide you with a more detailed analysis of those amendments and what type of ordinances the county can start putting together under that new grant of authority once it goes into effect at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, and I think we ought to have a couple of meetings where anybody that wants to come talk about this, a public comment, and hear from folks that have opinions. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that hate it, but I want to see what farmers actually are using it, the benefits, and what they see as other alternatives. I think we need to look at both sides of this equation.
Maybe the soil and water.
Biosolids is free, but what is the economic? I know that I've heard there's huge economic impact. But when I'm looking at this, 28,000, almost 29,000 acres is being used for biosolids. So I'd just like to hear from both sides so that we're not neck down, but I think we ought to at least allow anybody that wants to come and talk about this at public comment has an opportunity to do that either way, so we get some input on our methodology of developing an ordinance so that we've actually heard from both sides.
Get somebody from the Saltwater Conservation people to come.
But that would be, I have heard complaints, I have had people call me to their property after it's been spread across the street. I know there are issues, and I've talked to some of the farmers that talk about, there are some that never use it, there are some that always use it. Some think the fertilizer benefits far outweigh the industry hazards, but I think we need to look at the total picture.
But again, for me, as we talk about water and ensuring quality of water for residents, and most of the people are on wells. I mean, and the fact that there has been, Leon, do you remember, Mr. Hughes? Do you remember how many tests have been done? I think I asked you to call them. I don't know what the answer was regarding how many adjacent properties have been tested.
Yeah, they hadn't responded yet.
They haven't responded because I'm telling you, it's probably none. And that's the problem right there. None of the adjacent properties, they've been dumping this biosolids, I'm going to say mess, on land for 10 years. And it's proven that there are forever chemicals here. And you know that it has to be affecting people's wells because they're shallow wells. And the testing of people and their land and their wells should be a responsibility that we push the state to make sure that they're taking this responsibility to ensure that people are healthy. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Underwood.
Yeah.
Any other discussion regarding this before we move on? All right, we will, actually, item number 8, the informational calendar items. And then we have 2 other items left for our closed meeting that we did not get to at the 7 o'clock hour. So we'll have to go back into closed session to discuss those.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we included the status of capital projects. As you can see, most of those are moving along at a snail's pace. Some of them we've struggled for years on. We have included the summary of Planning Commission recommendations and the summary of notes from their last meeting. We've already had National Night Out in the meeting tonight. We don't really have anything that we know of that's made the calendar. Labor Day is the 7th, and we have our board meeting on the 8th of September. Milford Day is Saturday the 19th. We have the 4:30 in the EOC, the extension of the 50-mile meal, where they're going to bring a meal to the board cooked from all the various farms and products from the county, and then our regular 6 o'clock meeting on the 22nd of September. So that's what we have. We get a little bit busier in October with various things. And I think one thing we could have put on here, we probably, not thinking about, I'm pretty sure the fair probably starts on the 25th and runs through that last week into October 3rd. State Fair. Doesn't that sound about right? Last week of the month. So
yeah.
So that's all we have.
Righty.
Thank you.
So we will go back. I'm sorry. I guess we can. Yeah, we'll do our close on board comments now. If anybody has any, Mr. Underwood.
I have none, sir.
Ms. Long.
I have none, thank you.
Mr. Seeley.
I have none, Mr. Chairman.
I have none, Mr. Thomas, and Mr. Black.
I have none.
Okay, from no comments, so we'll go ahead and re-enter closed session for a couple more items that we did not get to.
Is it just 3 and 4 that we need to go back in for? We finished 1 and 2.
I think it was just 3, if I remember correctly. Okay.
I just need to know which 2 and 4. Okay. I move this board convene in closed meeting pursuant to number 2, the prospective business exemption of 2.2-3711.A.5 of the Code of Virginia to discuss potential expansion of prospective business in the Reedy Church and Mattaponi districts about which no previous public announcement has been made. And number 4, to legal counsel in contract exemptions of section 2.2-3711.A.8 and A29 of the Code of Virginia for consultation with county attorney and discussion with staff regarding proposals received to provide executive search services for the county administrator's office. Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Seeley and a second by Ms. Long to enter into closed session. Any other discussion? All those in favor of moving in closed session, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're officially in the closed session. For those in the public, we probably will be in there in an hour. Then we'll come out to address any actions that come from those meetings, which we doubt there will be. And I'm just guessing. And then we will adjourn for the evening. No. All right, we are back from our closed session. We will come out of closed session.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Caroline County Board of Supervisors certifies that to the best of each board member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempt from the open meeting requirement by Virginia law were discussed in closed meeting to which this certification applies, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the board. I need a second.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Seeley and a second by Ms. Long to come out of closed session. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we are out of closed session. So we need to certify that only exempted business matters were discussed in the meeting. And we have no action items at this point. Mr. Black, do you certify?
I so certify.
Mr. Thomas?
I so certify.
All right, so certify. Mr. Seeley?
I so certify.
Ms. Long?
I so certify.
And Mr. Underwood?
I so certify.
All right, we have concluded our closed session. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move, Mr.
Second.
Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Seeley and seconded by Ms. Long to adjourn for the evening. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we are officially adjourned. Our
Thank you, staff. Thank you,
August
guys.
11th meeting.